Hello students, welcome to CBSE NCERT Solutions by Vedantu. This is Ms. Kopika, your own biology master teacher. So as all of you know that from past 1 week we have been doing NCERT line by line on this channel, where we have done physics, chemistry, biology, botany, mathematics, all of this separately. So today we are going to do sexual reproduction in flowering plants, which is one of the most important chapters of your 12th and one of the longest chapters. So today we will be doing part 1 of this chapter. So I hope all of you have been enjoying NCERT line by line. Please let us know in the comments how you find these sessions. So today students, I know I'm a zoology teacher, but today I'll be doing sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Okay, so let's go line by line of NCERT. So for those students who do not know what NCERT line by line is, where we put every single slip of NCERT, like your entire textbook will be on the screen, and we will teach you every single line of NCERT with additional explanation needed. You can go check out my other classes to know more about this. Okay, so yes, let's start the class. So are we not lucky that plants reproduce sexually is a question that is asked by the NCERT. Okay, the myriads of flowers that we enjoy gazing at, the scents, the perfume that we spoon on over, the rich colors that attract us are all there as a aid to sexual reproduction. That is, they're trying to say that whatever we enjoy in our day-to-day activities, whatever we gift other people, like we gift flowers, even if it is about death, even if it is about birth, everything, flower is a symbolization, right? Even when someone is getting married, we give flowers. Why? Because flower is a like what to tell, it emphasizes on beauty, it emphasizes on happiness, it also emphasizes on sorrow. So it has so many emotions linked with it, but all these emotions are coming from a place because of plants able to reproduce sexually. If plants was not able to reproduce sexually, then there wouldn't be flowers, then there wouldn't be seeds. So if these things did not exist, then it will be difficult for the mankind. So that is why NCERT is giving a very poetic, class, conversation in the starting of the chapter, which you can totally skip, no problem. But there are few lines that you cannot skip in this paragraph. Like, flowers do not exist only for us to be used for our own selfishness. All flowering plants show sexual reproduction. So all the flowering plants, the flower is a fruit of that sexual reproduction, right? So today you're going to learn about that. Look at it. A look at the diversity of structures of the inflorescence, flowers and floral parts shows an amazing range of adaptation to ensure formation of the end products of sexual reproduction, the fruits and the seeds, as I already mentioned. In this chapter, let's understand the morphological structure and the process of sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Now students, since if you're a board student and you are, while you're reading this chapter, always try to focus on this statement very much, because the question can come about an MCQ could come, or a yes or no can come, or a true or false can come from this question, asking if all flowering plants show sexual reproduction. Okay, so this is one of the most important lines of your NCERT. Now we are going to go into the major portion of your NCERT, that is flower, a fascinating organ of angiosperm. Human beings have had an intimate relationship with flowers since time immemorial. That means from the time we have known, unknown, we know that flowers have been very related to us, right? We love to see flowers in the morning. We love to see flowers on some special occasions. Nowadays, you know that even marriages, right? The whole setup is full of flowers, right? You see entire, the mantap we tell, no? The mantap full of flowers. Even when two people are getting married also, they exchange flower, they exchange the garlands, right? So all this symbolizes flowers. Okay, flowers are objects of aesthetic, ornamental, social, religious and cultural value. They have always been used as a symbol for conveying important human feelings such as love, affection, happiness, grief, mourning. So everything, all these emotions we express in the form of flowers, right? Even on the death of a person, we decorate the entire thing with flowers, right? White flowers, we decorate the whole thing with flowers, we give wreath which is filled with flowers. So they're trying to say that flowers are the symbol of so many emotions that are linked to our day-to-day activities, and we express them. Okay, now they're asking us to write any 5 names of the flowers that you would cultivate or which have ornamental value. Now students, this is a flower, a very normal flower. Now let's see which are the parts of the flower. You'll be like, ma'am, come on ma'am, we have studied all this in EVS when we were small. But yes, now NCERT has given it, so we have to study it obviously, and this also helps you connect to so many other topics in this chapter as well. So look here students, this is the style. So first we will go into the male and the female part, right? Male and the female part. So the male, okay, male part is called as androecium. Male part, no, the whorl is called as androecium. Okay, androecium. And this androecium is made up of units called as stamens. Okay, units called as stamens. This stamen is made up of two things called the anther and the filament. Anther and the filament. Okay, now what you're seeing here, like just look here, this one which you're seeing here, okay, don't get misled by it. Look here, this is the filament. This long threads which you're seeing, no, these are the filaments. All these are the filaments. Okay, and here you see a two-lobed or bi-lobed structure, no, that is your anther. Okay, bi-lobed structure is your anther. So if I draw a stamen, right, if I draw a complete stamen, it would look something like this. Okay students, this is how much I can draw with the pen. Okay, the pen is not very smooth. Okay, this structure. So this which you see is the bilobed structure. Okay, this which you see is the bilobed structure. Okay, this is the anther and this is the filament. Okay, this is the filament. So this together, anther filament, which together forms the stamen, and many stamens together form the androecium. Okay, whorls means what? Now like how now this room, first they have kept bricks, then they have I don't know what they do after that. Okay, they have put cement. Okay, both the sides they have put cement. After that they have put, the cement has dried. After that they have started putting the plaster of Paris, I guess. Okay, they start doing that, then they put paint, right? Like that this room is made. So that means what? Different layers, and the entire foundation is made up of so many bricks, so many cement, so many mud, soil, water, many components. Like that, even this entire world, right? We have androecium, we have gynoecium, we have corolla, calyx, all these parts that we are going to talk about, everything is a unit, or they are a world by itself. Okay, not world students, world. Okay, world. When I pronounce it, you might sound it like world, but it's world. Okay, now like the male, even there is the female part that is called as gynoecium. What is it called? Gynoecium. Now gynoecium is made up of a unit called as carpel or pistil. Carpel or pistil. Now this carpel or pistil is made up of three units. Okay, is made up of three units. Those three units are what? First unit is going to be your stigma, style, ovary. These three people form together a carpel. So what you're seeing in the middle, this one, this is a long style, and this is your ovary, and this is your stigma. Okay, now on the stigma, the pollen grains will come and land. It could be from the same plant, or it could be from another plant. The pollen grains which are inside this will come and land on the stigma, right? If I have to draw, I don't know if I'll be able to draw also with this. Okay, but we will try it. Yes, okay, this is how it is going to look. This is the ovary, this is the stigma. Okay, stigma, style, and ovary. Inside the ovary, who is going to be there? Ovules are going to be there. Okay, very good. Ovules are going to be there. Okay, now this pollen grain and the ovule has to fertilize, right? Then the seed will be formed. Now students, this is the parts of the flower. Now the next whorl that we have to talk about. Next whorl we have to talk about. Okay, so basically we have corolla and we have calyx. Okay, corolla and calyx. Corolla is the one might not have directly, it's not going to help in reproduction. Okay, so if I have to say, androecium and gynoecium becomes the essential part of the flower. essential part of the flower. If these two people are there, you tell me how fertilization will happen, right? So they are the essential part of the flower. They make the fertilization happen. But then there are two non-essential part. Non-essential part means it's not like they're useless. It's like they are not directly involved in reproduction, but they're actually going to help in reproduction in one or the other ways. Let's see which are the other two. See, these two are the non-essential part. Okay, non-essential part. That means what? This corolla is going to, is the unit, the word is corolla and the unit formed as petals. Okay, this petals, students, obviously this is the reason why insects get attracted. Yes or no? Even we get attracted. That is how we will be doing, we'll be also helping in pollination, right? We take a flower, we move to different place, the pollen grains would have got scattered, right? It would have gone and landed on some stigma. If they are compatible, they would have formed another different category by itself. Now this corolla is a whorl and the petal is a unit of it. Okay, now petal is not directly helping in reproduction. That means it's not directly involving. Since my neck is hurting, so I'll be sitting like this. Okay, do not mind my neck. Okay, so corolla is the whorl and petal is going to be the unit of it. Okay, this petal is the reason why the insects are going to get attracted, right? Petal is the reason why the insects are going to get attracted. Now what about calyx, ma'am? Calyx, the unit is going to be sepal. Calyx, the unit is going to be sepal. Sepal, can you see here? Now sepal does not have a, like, see, definitely does protection, but it has a major role when the flower is a bud. How many of you have seen rose? All of you would have seen rose, no? I'm trying to draw the rose petal. It might be a challenge to do it, but yeah, I'm going to draw a rose petal. Now look here. This is how the rose will look like, right? Like this. Okay, I cannot increase the thickness of the pen. So here, yes, this is how rose will look. Now all of you would have seen the green color portion, yes or no? All of you would have seen this green color portion that is protecting this this bud. This protection is none other than sepal. This job was actually done by sepal. Okay, but when later, like in the sense once the flower got matured, we do not need or we do not take that much help from the sepal, because again they are going to do the protection, but in the bud stage they are the ones who are protecting the bud. Okay, they are protecting the bud this way. This is the reason why the bud does not get damaged or anything, because of the sepal. Okay, I hope flower diagram was easy. Now, to a biologist, the flowers are morphological and embryological marvels and sites of sexual reproduction. Okay, in class 11 you have read the various parts of flower, with that is figure 2.2 will help you recall the parts of a typical flower which we just saw. Can you name the two parts in the flower which are the most important units of sexual reproduction? Yes, all my students will be able to do. They are none other than your androecium and gynoecium. Okay, androecium and gynoecium. These are the two parts of the flower that is actually going to help in sexual reproduction, and these two are the essential part of the flower. These two are the essential part of the flower also. Okay, now this is what they have told. Now students, remember that when the whole process is going to happen, there is going to be three major stages. First one is going to be called as pre-fertilization. Then there is going to be a stage called as fertilization, and then there is one more stage that is going to be called as post-fertilization. These are the three major events that are going to happen. Now pre-fertilization means what? We have to form the pollen grains. Yes or no? We have to form the pollen grains, and we have to make the ovum ready, or the ovules ready to form embryo sac. Okay, embryo sac. Right, so that the fusing can happen. Then during the fertilization phase you will have double fertilization. Okay, double fertilization. double fertilization, triple fusion. Okay, then post fertilization phase is where your seed flower formation is going to happen. Okay, flower seed formation is going to happen. So these are the three major stages for this entire, or let's say this whole chapter is based on only these three events: pre-fertilization events, fertilization events, post-fertilization events. Okay, let's see the pre-fertilization events. Pre-fertilization events, structures and events. Much before the actual flower is seen on the plant, the decision that the plant is going to flower has been taken place. So like how we make the decision also, before you are going to attend this class, you would have already made the decision that okay, I am going to complete sexual reproduction half part of the chapter, maybe on YouTube or by self study. You have already made the decision. After you make the decision to study, that is when you go and search for the chapter, right? Okay, sexual reproduction in plant, I am going to watch, right? So like that same way, before the flower is actually formed, the decision is already made by the plant that we are going to change some hormonal and structural changes so a flower can be bearing. Okay, a flower can be formed. So several hormonal and structural changes are initiated which led to the differentiation and further development of the floral primordium. Okay, so the thing has already been made. What is that? The hormonal and structural changes have already been made before itself, so that the flower, the decision of making a flower is already taken. Okay, flower formation is already taken into consideration. Now inflorescence. Okay, inflorescence means what, students? A group of flowers, right? Inflorescence means a group of flowers are formed which bear the floral buds and then the flowers. So here imagine if the flower is very small. Okay, if the flower is very small, you think the insect will get attracted? Insect will not get attracted, right? So what we do is, let's say on this, okay, on this we will have many flowers. Okay, on the floral axis we will have many flowers. So this looks, okay, this looks attractable and the insects will also get attracted. Imagine like this, only one flower was there, it would not get attracted. So this becomes an inflorescence. Now students, you have to know the two types of inflorescence. Okay, inflorescence, racemose, okay, and cymose. Racemose and cymose inflorescence. Now racemose and cymose inflorescence means, okay, racemose inflorescence is where the younger buds, let's say this is the plant, I'll just draw, you'll understand. Okay, what does this mean? This means that the younger flowers, right, the younger flowers are to the top and the older flowers are to the bottom, right? But here same thing ulta will happen. Okay, larger flowers are to the top, okay, and younger flowers are to the bottom. They'll be like, hey, I'm not old, I'll go up, and they will move, push forward, and the lower, younger flowers will move downwards. So this is cymose inflorescence. Okay, this you would have studied in your previous classes, so you do not have to know everything about it. Just understand that which flowers are on the top and what kind of inflorescence. Now in the flowers, the male and the female reproductive structures, the androecium and the gynoecium, differentiate and develop. Okay, differentiate and develop. You would recollect that the androecium consists of a whorl of stamens and the male reproductive organ, and the gynoecium represents the female reproductive organ, which I already gave you an introduction, so it's not difficult for you to understand, right? Androecium is made up of units, a whorl full of stamens, okay, and each unit is called a stamen, which has an anther and filament. Same thing goes with gynoecium. There is a whorl full of carpel and pistil, and each of them will have stigma style ovary. Okay, each of them will have stigma style ovary. Now look here, figure 2.2 shows the two parts of a typical stamen. The long slender, this one, okay, the long and slender stalk called the filament, and the terminal generally bilobe structure called the anther. Okay, so now students here, so this is the filament. Okay, one more layer I'll try to draw. I'm not sure how it will come. Yeah, now this is the portion, this is your thalamus. Okay, there are two lines given in NCERT which you have to focus. Let's say this is the thalamus or the receptacle. Okay, now on top of this filament you will have a bilobed structure. Okay, you'll have a bilobed structure. It looks like a heart, but it's not a heart. Okay, so you'll have a bilobed structure. Now students, the one that is closer, see the filament is there, the one that is closer to the receptacle or closer to this portion, okay, closer to this portion, can I call it the proximal end? Proximal end, yes or no? Yes, ma'am, you can call it the proximal end because they are in close proximity. See, this bottle is in close proximity with me, right? So close, yeah. So this is in close proximity, but at the same time, the pen which is there is at distal end with me. So the one that is far from me is going to be at the distal end. The one which is closer to me is going to be at the proximal end. So I will say from the thalamus, the anther is at the proximal end. Anther is at the distal end. Yes or no? Okay, from the thalamus, if I see, anther is at a distal end and filament is at the proximal end. Okay, so here that word is mentioned, students. That is why I am explaining this. See, you will understand. The proximal end of the filament is attached to the thalamus or the petal of the flower. Okay, so from here maybe a petal can arise. Yes or no? Yes, ma'am, a petal can arise. Okay, a petal can arise. Okay, one more petal we can draw. So it looks like a flower. Okay, a petal can arise and then there is an anther. Now, the number and the length of stamens are variable in the flowers of different species. If you were to collect a stamen from 10 flowers, each from different species, and arrange them on a slide, you would be able to appreciate the large variation in size seen in nature. Careful observation of each stamen under a dissecting microscope and making neat diagrams would elucidate the range in shape and attachments of anther. That is, they're trying to say that how beautiful nature has made these anthers, that if you collect 10 anthers from different species of plant, one say from hibiscus, one from rose, one from different plant, and you keep it under the slide and you view it under the microscope, you will be able to notice how beautiful these structures are. This is what they're trying to say. Okay, how beautiful these structures can look like. So here we are going to write that there are 4 students. This is my revision sheet. Okay, in the middle of every NCERT snip I will add a revision sheet. Here I'll write everything that we have done so far. Okay, so this revision sheet is like a short note that you can use. Okay, 4 words are there, students. In that we have andrecium. Okay, andrecium. We have gynoecium. Okay, we have corolla and we have calyx. Okay, calyx. Now, andrecium, the unit, or it has a whorl of stamen. Okay, here it is having a whorl, or it's not having a whorl because that many are not there. Okay, only one will be there, carpel and pistil. Okay, corolla, the unit is going to be petal, and calyx, the unit is going to be sepal. Now, among this, what you have to remember? You have to remember that these two are the essential part of the flower. Essential part of the flower. Yes or no? These two are the non-essential part of the flower. Non-essential part of the flower. Why am I telling that this fellow is essential? Why am I telling this fellow is essential? Because they are going to help in the sexual reproduction. Okay, direct involvement in the sexual reproduction. Now, for reproduction to happen, right? For reproduction to happen, there are three stages or three events. Okay, three events are there. Okay, three events are there, which is called the pre-fertilization. Okay, pre-fertilization, fertilization. Okay, fertilization and post-fertilization. Okay, post-fertilization. Got it? Fertilization and post-fertilization. I told you about each of the event, so I'm not going to write it again. Now, the next most important thing is we are going to directly talk about the anther. So, we are trying to say that anther has a long, slender, thread-like filament, which is called, okay, long thread-like structure, which is called the filament. Okay, it's long filament. Okay, and this filament, okay, this filament, it is attached, okay, it is attached to the thalamus at what end? At the proximal end. Okay, at the proximal end. Students, if you want these notes, you can join Biology by Gopika, where I'll share the notes with you guys. Okay, not this note, the one that I write in board, on board. Okay, this is your anther. This is a bilobed structure. Okay, this is a bilobed structure. This is a bilobed structure. Bilobe means two lobes are there. Okay, two lobes are there. Now let's continue. See, a typical angiosperm anther. Okay, a typical angiosperm anther, it is bilobed with each lobe having two thecas. Bilobed means what? Bi means two, right? Bi means two. So bilobed means two lobes are there, okay? And they are dithecous. Often a longitudinal groove runs lengthwise separating the theca. Let us understand the various types of tissues and their organization in the transverse section of an anther. The bilobed nature of an anther is very distinct in the transverse section of the anther. The anther is four-sided structure consisting of four microsporangia located at each corner in each lobe. The microsporangia develop further and become pollen sac. So students, if I have to draw this, okay? I'll show you the structure of this, don't worry. Okay, this is the structure of your anther. They're telling each side there is going to be a sporangia. Okay, or we can tell theca. So it is dithecous means what? Each lobe has only two thecas. So dithecous. Okay, to keep these two portions together, they have a connective. Okay, here they have a connective. This will connect these two together. So students, this one, okay, this portion itself we can call it as dithecous, but otherwise we can call this as microsporangia. Sporangia. Okay, microsporangia. Now this portion which holds these two together is called a connective. Okay, it's called a connective. Now this inside this, if the pollen grains will be there, this will mature. Okay, this will mature to form pollen sac. This will mature to form pollen sac. Clear? Okay, now let's see. Okay, bilobed you understood. Now if I draw this is how it will look. Okay, okay students, if I cut an anther, it will look like this. Okay, look like this is the lobes that I have drawn here. Okay, this is the lobes I have drawn here. Now how is an anther going to look fully? Like this, right? It's going to look like this, and if I cut like this, it is going to look like this. Okay, and if we draw an enlarged portion, it is going to look like this, and inside this pollen grains will be there. Okay, inside this pollen grains will be there. Once it matures, it will be called as a pollen sac. Okay, now you have to remember that they are dithecous. Dithecous means each lobe, okay, each lobe, see, this is one This is one side, two lobes are there like this. This is one lobe, this is one lobe. Okay, each lobe has this condition. Okay, dithecous condition. Each lobe has two lobes. I mean, each section has two lobes. Okay, so dithecous condition. Not lobe, students, theca. You can tell theca because lobe and that word you might get confused. Two theca. Okay, dithecous. Let us understand various types of tissues. Now each of this layer will have tissues which will protect them, obviously, right? And then the anther is four-sided tetragonal structure consisting of four microsporangia located at the corner. See, these are the corners. Okay, these are the corners. Clear, all of you? Yes? Okay, very nice. One second, students. Yes, dithecous, two thecas are there. Okay, the microsporangia develop further and become pollen sac. They extend longitudinally. Okay, they extend longitudinally all through the length of the anther and are packed with pollen grains. Okay, packed with pollen grains. Now look at this diagram. This is the diagram that we were talking about. I already drew it, so you'll be able to understand. See, these are the bilobed. Okay, bilobed anther. This is the bilobed anther. Okay, now if we do a cross section of this, now how will you see it? You'll be able to see this. Can you see lobes? Can you see? Okay, inside the lobes, what is there? Pollen grains is there. Once it matures, it will become pollen sac. Okay, line of dehiscence. Line of dehiscence means if this line is not there, then this anther will not burst open. For them to burst open, we need line of dehiscence. Okay, and then you can see the filament. Okay, filament. Chalo. Now structure of microsporangia. Microsporangium. In a transverse section, a typical microsporangium appears near circular in outline. Okay, it will look circular in outline. It is generally surrounded by four wall layers. It is generally surrounded by four wall layers: the epidermis, endothelium, middle layer, and the tapetum. Okay, the outer three layers perform the function of protection and help in dehiscence. Dehiscence, again I told you, for the anther to burst open. If the anther does not burst open, then the pollen grains are not going to be formed, right? So for the dehiscence of anther to release the pollen. Now the innermost wall layer is tapetum. Okay, so they are trying to say, students, now if this is the diagram that we drew, we'll draw a Kuti diagram. Okay, this diagram if we drew, yes, this will have four layers. Okay, one layer, another layer, two to three layers of this. Okay, like this layers will be there, and each layer, the first layer is called as the epidermis, second layer is endothelium, third layer is called the middle layer, and the fourth layer is called the tapetum. So they are telling this first three layers. Okay, I'll erase this tapetum and I'll write it here. They are telling that this first three layers, okay, this first three layers are going to help in protection, okay, protection and dehiscence. Then what about tapetum, right? Tapetum is a very special layer because this tapetum will be able to provide the nourishment, okay, nourishment for the growing embryo sac. Pollen, okay, for the growing pollen grain, which other people are not able to do. Other people are going to do protection and dehiscence, but tapetum is the one who is going to do the innermost layer, who is going to do the nourishing of the developing pollen grains. Okay, cells of the tapetum is very important to remember. Cells of the tapetum have dense cytoplasm, okay, and generally have multinucleated. Okay, generally have more than one nucleus. Clear? More than one nucleus. Now can you think of how tapetal cells could become binucleate? Okay, you have to think about it. Now when the anther is young, okay, a group of compactly arranged homogeneous cells called sporogenous tissue occupy the center of each microsporangium. So they're telling, if let's say this is the microsporangium, they're telling that between this, okay, between this there is a set of cells which are called as sporogenous tissues, okay, a set of a group of compactly arranged, okay, compactly arranged cells called sporogenous tissue. These occupy the center of the microsporangium. So these are the ones who are going to help in the formation of the microsporangium, okay. So here, okay, this is the, okay, these two are not connecting only, I think they don't want to connect, okay, these two thecas. Now in between they have connective, okay, they have connective, okay. Now students, this, okay, these are microsporangia, okay. In middle there are some tissues that are compactly packed which are called as sporogenous tissue, okay, sporogenous tissue. Now between this, like to keep these two lobes together, we have a connective, okay, we have a connective, not connective, we can just call it connective, don't have to write tissue also, just write a connective, okay. Now this two makes it dithecous, okay, dithecous. Ditheca means this is a theca, this is a theca. Now inside this, pollen grains are going to be there, okay, pollen grains are going to be there, that will mature to become pollen sac, it will mature to become pollen sac, clear, pollen sac, okay. Now what you have to remember is pollen grains are there, pollen sac is there, okay, I've understood this. Now they are telling that there are layers, right? To this there are layers, that means if we draw an enlarged structure of these portion, we'll be able to see different layers like epidermis, okay, epidermis, endothelium. This is enough for your boards, okay. For NEET means we'll teach a little more, but for your boards this is enough. Endothelium, okay, middle layer, okay, middle layer, and tapetum, okay, tapetum, epidermis, endothelium, middle layer and tapetum, okay. Now this epidermis, endothelium, middle layer and tapetum, these people are mainly helping for protection, okay, protection and dehiscence, protection and dehiscence. This fellow is the only one who is going to help for, okay, who is going to help for nourishment, nourishment of developing pollen, developing pollen grains. Got it? Nourishment for the developing pollen grains. Now the, and this is very one more important thing, these are binucleate to multinucleate, okay, binucleate or multinucleate. This tapetum can be bi or multinucleate, okay. Now students, epidermis is a single layer, endothelium also is a single layer, middle layer can be 2 to 3 layers, okay, middle layer can be 2 to 3 layers, this much you remember, more than enough. Now what you need to remember about anther, the questions for your boards, okay, what kind of questions will come, they'll ask you write everything about anther. So first you have to write that it is present on a filamentous, that is long, slender, okay, stalk called as filament. Okay, filament. Then you have to write it is bilobed, very important, bilobed. Okay, tetrasporangiate, tetrasporangiate. Then dithecus, okay, dithecus. They have 4 microsporangia. Okay, inside this microsporangia, in the central, they have a group of compactly arranged cells. Okay, a group of cells compactly arranged, you write group of cells called the sporogenous. I think here if I write, I don't think you'll be able to see, so I'll write it on the top. Okay, sporogenous tissue. Okay, sporogenous tissue. Now this sporogenous tissue is actually going to help in microsporogenesis, which you will understand on the way now. Okay, next one, microsporogenesis. Now before we go to microsporogenesis, look at this diagram, student. This is what I was talking about. Okay, see, so you can see the connective. Okay, that's the one that connects. Epidermis is the first layer, endothelium is a single layer, sporogenous tissue which is present in the middle. Okay, did I draw it correctly here? Okay, in between, yes. Okay, in the middle of this sporangium, there will be a central cell which is called as a sporogenous tissue, and then you have tapetum and then the middle layers. Okay, now if we draw the enlarged structure of it, you can see epidermis is a single layer, endothelium is a single layer, but can you see middle layer? 2 to 3 layers it can happen. Okay, then students, as we go further, that is to the center of the cell where the sporogenous tissue is there, we will see microspore mother cell, that is MMC. Okay, and then we will see the tapetum. Okay, this is how it is going to look. Can you see the pollen grains? They will mature to become pollen sacs as well. Okay, pollen sacs as well. Now see, each cell of the sporogenous tissue is capable of giving rise to a microspore tetrad. What are they trying to say? The sporogenous tissue, right, just present in the center tissue that is present in the center has the ability to become microspore mother cell. From microspore mother cell, it can give rise to 4 microspore tetrads. 4 microspore tetrads is what they're telling. Okay, each one can become, that is this 4 microspore tetrads, each one can become a pollen sac or a pollen grain, sorry, pollen grain. Okay, or they can become MMC, microspore mother cell, and give rise to the next generation. Okay, the process of formation of microspore from the pollen mother cell through meiosis is called as microsporogenesis. Definition is very important. Definition very important. Okay, formation of microspore from pollen mother cell through meiosis, okay, is called microsporogenesis. Very important. Now the microspore, as they are formed and arranged in cluster of 4 cells, the microspore tetrad, okay, as the anther mature and dehydrate, the microspores dissociate from each other and develop into pollen grains. Inside each microsporangium, several thousands of microspores or pollen grains are formed that are released with dehiscence of anther. So here what are they trying to say? They are trying to say, let's draw it here. I think, did I leave a slide? Okay, I did not leave a slide. So look here, students. Let's say this is the, okay, MMC or the PMC, pollen mother cell or microspore mother cell, that will form 4 tetrads. Now there's a problem, students. This 4 tetrads is joined together with the help of a person called as callus. What is this called? Callus. This callus is given from, callus is given from, not callus, callus. Okay. Callus is released to keep all these tetrads together. But the tapetum, okay, we cannot have this together. If we have this together, how will we do the further process? How will we make pollen grains out of each of them? So tapetum will release callase, and that callase will go and break this and form or keep the 4 tetrads. Now they are telling each tetrad can become a pollen grain. So this is a pollen grain. Okay, each can become a pollen grain. So each of them 4 pollen grains can form. That's what NCERT is saying. 4 pollen grains can be formed. Okay.